interesting times. Today's stories. No going back. Bali's Chinese tourists fear virus hit homeland. In virus hit China, coat maker adapts to make hazmat suits. Last rally in South Carolina for Bernie Sanders before the primary protest show Canadian Indigenous law needs reconciling. Prince Harry joins Bon Jovi at the Abbey Road recording studios. For EBC Sports, the Vancouver Canucks versus the Boston Bruins. EBC Film, Guerrero De shows in Winnipeg. And the latest in cars at the Toronto Auto Show. I'm Tiffany Alisasis with Eagle News, broadcasting from our studio in Calgary, Canada, bringing you stories from around the globe. Hundreds of Chinese tourists who went to Bali on holiday are now scrambling to avoid going back to the epicenter of the deadly coronavirus, fearing both infection and Beijing's handling of the epidemic.
Actually, I'm trying to extend my visa for a few more weeks, and the reason is because the situation of the virus in China isn't getting better, and I think the data the government put out is not close to real. So I think I would just rather to stay in Bali and to watch the situation. I'll try to go back when the situation is getting better.
China's coronavirus is preventing clothing manufacturer Ugly Duck Industries from resuming its normal production of winter coats. So it has pivot to another in-demand product, hazmat suits.
物质因为疫情扩散，防疫物质比较紧张，我们瓯海区委区政府呢就决定，生产防护服。然后呢，就是在8号吧，我们就开了这个会议啊，叫我筹押，还有一个叫真景服饰，我们2家企业联合一起生产防护服，进行自救。接下来我们要还要继续生产防护服。就是一边生产防护服，一边生产我们的外贸服装，两边都不误，2个都。这次疫情应该来说对公司多少会有影响，因为再怎么样已经向后移了1个月了啊，但是我们会想尽一切办法把这个失去的1个月抢回来。
Hundreds of supporters flocked to hear from Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders ahead of the South Carolina primary.
One might think that in the midst of a major healthcare crisis, the President of the United States would be assembling doctors and scientists and researchers. Not Donald Trump. He is here in South Carolina for one reason: to disrupt the Democratic primary. That's why he's here. What the scientists are telling us is that climate change is an existential threat to our country and to the entire planet. What they are telling us is that the oceans and the sea levels are rising, and that means that great American cities like Miami, like Charleston, South Carolina, like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, like New Orleans, like New York City, will be partially or maybe even completely underwater by the end of the century. So here we are, brothers and sisters, one day before the South Carolina primary, very important day in the political process. And this takes place in the midst of the most consequential election in the modern history of this country. So I'm here today to humbly and respectfully ask for your support tomorrow.
My hope is that Bernie Sanders wins the Democratic primary in South Carolina. I think he will. I think that Joe Biden may be in the lead, but I think Bernie Sanders, after today, I think the momentum's there. It's a movement, and I think that Bernie Sanders will come out on top.
It was really, really cool. This is like the first time I've seen Bernie live. I've been a supporter since 2016, and it was super energizing. It made me feel really good about our chances here in South Carolina, just to see this sort of turnout here.
You see someone who's so good and passionate. Yeah, and just who lives lives to like help others, and it's just so selfless, and you know, it's admiring.
Up next, protests show Canadian Indigenous laws need reconciling. Prince Harry joins Bon Jovi at Abbey Road Recording Studios. And in sports, Vancouver Canucks versus Boston Bruins. This is Eagle News. You're watching Eagle News. I'm Tiffany Ali Sassis. A clash of Canadian colonial era and traditional Indigenous laws is behind a flare-up of protest this month in support of chiefs fighting construction of a pipeline on their ancestral lands. Experts say Professor Martin Papillon at the University of Montreal says, at that moment, there's a form of uncertainty about the exact nature of these rights to territory because they have not been defined in treaties.
Et ce qui est important de comprendre, c'est qu'au Canada, justement, ces droits-là sur le territoire, présentement, il y a une forme d'incertitude par rapport à la nature exacte de ces droits-là, parce qu'ils n'ont pas été définis dans des traités. Ils n'ont pas fait l'objet de négociations. Et dans le cas des Wet'suwet'en, eh bien, il y a eu un jugement de la Cour suprême là, qui leur donne en partie raison sur leurs revendications, mais ce jugement-là n'a jamais défini exactement la nature de ces droits-là. Donc, le gouvernement de Justin Trudeau, lors de son élection en 2015, a fait de la réconciliation avec les peuples autochtones un des principaux objectifs là, de son mandat, d'accord? Et donc, il a mis la barre très haute. Il a dit, nous, on va arriver à cette réconciliation-là. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire la réconciliation? Bien, ça veut dire un peu reconstruire la relation, hein? Reconstruire les ponts suite à un historique de politique coloniale qui visait à assimiler les individus, les nations autochtones, les faire disparaître finalement. Cette crise-là n'est pas nouvelle. Ce qui est nouveau par contre, ce qui est intéressant à mon avis, c'est que la mobilisation de la nation Wet'suwet'en, ou en tout cas des chefs traditionnels de la nation Wet'suwet'en et de leurs sympathisants, a créé un mouvement de solidarité à travers le Canada. C'est dans la façon de prendre les décisions à l'avenir. Par exemple, quand on a un autre projet de gazoduc comme au Québec en ce moment, comment on arrive à la décision d'autoriser ou non ce projet-là, c'est là la clé. Hein? Et là, d'intégrer non seulement d'intégrer les préoccupations autochtones, mais de faire des Autochtones des véritables partenaires à la fois du projet, donc qui puissent en bénéficier, mais aussi des partenaires dans la décision d'autoriser ou non le projet. Hein.
Prince Harry joins John Bon Jovi at the Abbey Road Studios in London to record a track for the Invictus Injured Ex-Servicemen's Charity, with the pair recreating the iconic Beatles album cover on the zebra crossing outside the studios. On Friday, he will be in London to meet US rock singer John Bon Jovi, who is recording a special song for the Prince's Invictus Game Foundation for military veterans. They will meet at Abbey Road Studios, where the Beatles recorded most of their albums, and where Bon Jovi is also recording his song with a choir made up of wounded veterans and serving personnel. In a BBC interview this week about the event, the singer quipped that following his exit from frontline royal life, Harry should be known as the artist formerly known as Prince. The musician Prince took his title after eschewing his name in favor of a symbol. Harry and Meghan will join the Queen on March 9 for a Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey, which is expected to be their last official appearance as working royals. In EBC Sports, the Boston-Vancouver rivalry reignited as the Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks took to the ice at Rogers Arena. Here's Eagle News correspondent Anthony Sevilla with the report.
The Vancouver Canucks took down the top team in the National Hockey League, the Boston Bruins, in a convincing 9-3 win at home and snapped the Bruins' 5-game winning streak. The Canucks found a way to turn it around after dropping their last 2 games to Anaheim and Minnesota with a combined 2-4-2 record in their last 8 games. David Pastrnak of the Bruins led his team in scoring. The leading scorer in the National Hockey League scored 2 of the 3 goals for Boston in the loss. However, his 2-goal effort was outshined by the offensive effort by the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks' 9 goals against the Bruins tied the team's single-game goal total this season. JT Miller, Troy Stecher, and newcomer Tyler Toffoli had 3 points each. Defenseman Quinn Hughes continued to shine, who recorded 2 assists for his 14th and 15th point in his last 11 games.
I think it was a good test, obviously. Against a team like that, you're not going to score 9 ever. But then we played a really good game tonight. Everybody was going. We worked hard, wore them down. They were at the end of the trip. We just kind of wore them down, and it feels really good in here. Well, I think we're buying into just winning, beating that team over the personal side of things. I mean, anytime you play that well and put up that many against one of the best teams in the league, it feels really good. Especially, we feel like we owed them a little something from a couple weeks ago. So, like I said, everybody bought in tonight. We stuck to our game plan, played well. They had a little push in the beginning of the third, but obviously we responded nicely.
You want to perform in big games, and you want to be a guy that steps up. And against, obviously, our line had a tough matchup tonight, and Tanny and Hughesy against a heck of a line, and I thought we did a great job containing them.
With Brock Besser out for the remainder of the season, Tyler Toffoli was plugged into the first line with JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. The newly acquired forward notched his first as a Vancouver Canuck, finishing with 2 goals and an assist.
I mean, it feels good, obviously, scoring a goal this early kind of makes it a little easier, but at the same time, you just got to keep working, and I mean, it sounds cliche, but keep trying to build the chemistry with these guys. I mean, not just my line mates, but everybody, the D, you're making changes, and other guys are out there with you. So lots of talk and lots of work, and we're going to have some fun.
Canucks captain Bo Horvat had a goal and an assist in the win against Boston. He shared his thoughts about his team's performance and gave credit to his new teammate Tyler Toffoli.
He's awesome. He's played a great game again tonight. He was great in the game before that, and great addition to our team. Obviously, goal scoring. When he gets in those areas, he's not going to miss very much, and he showed that tonight.
The Boston Bruins were faced with a difficult challenge heading into Rogers Arena, who played their 3rd game in 4 nights. Chris Wagner of the Bruins was asked if that played a factor in the loss to Vancouver.
Look, they're a tough team to play against. We saw when they came into our building, I think even though the score was a little lopsided, we knew what they could bring and the potential problems they could pose. So they played well tonight. They played hard, and like you said, at the end of a 3-4, that really didn't cross our minds too much. Maybe we probably should have thought about it, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, and we didn't have it. This team has taken a lot of pride over the last a lot of years and last number of games as well, and tonight we just didn't have it. So everything in between, you name it, it probably happened tonight. So it's unfortunate, and now we got to sit on it for a few days, which is probably the crappy part. But it was an ugly one.
Despite the loss, the Bruins still hold the top spot in the Eastern Conference with a 5-point cushion in front of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Vancouver's win put them at 72 points and a game back for the Vegas Golden Knights for the top seed in the Pacific Division. From Vancouver, Anthony Sevilla, Eagle News, 1/25.
Still to come, ABC film Guerrero Dos shows in Winnipeg. Toronto Auto Event showcases the latest cars. You're watching Eagle News. This is Eagle News. I'm Tiffany Alisasis. Guerrero Dos, the continuation of the hit movie Guerrero, was well received in Winnipeg. Here's Eagle News correspondent Iris de Guzman with the details.
Guerrero Dos is another film by Carlo Ortega Cuevas and a continuation of the story of boxer Ramon Guerrero, who was tragically knocked out in a boxing match that put him in a coma. In this movie, we follow Ramon's younger brother Miguel and what took place while Ramon was unconscious. Miguel, played by Julio Cesar Sabinario, stole the show both in the first movie and in this one with his humor and one-liners. While the first movie focused on Ramon overcoming his problems, in this story we see how Miguel overcomes his. The story proved to be a hit with the Winnipeg audience.
It's very good. It's very creative in that it's hard to predict what will happen. I appreciate that the director took a lot of unique turns. The acting was very well done, and it really pulls at your heartstrings at certain scenes. So otherwise, a very good movie.
It's a really good movie for a variety of ages, but I think especially for the youth, especially since the main character is a much younger character. So I think it'll relate more to the younger generation and don't give up so easily, even though there's a lot of problems in life. And I think that's a really good lesson to put out there. Yeah, the movie was very enjoyable. I really liked it.
Just as the first Guerrero film left the audience wanting more, this one does the same. Reporting from Eagle News, I'm Iris de Guzman. I'm 1/25.
Now let's go over to Toronto, where Eagle News correspondent Marco Rudo will take us to the Toronto Auto Show for the latest cars. Marco?
We're here at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, where the latest trends for speed and style are on showcase for all to see in Canada's largest auto event, the 2020 Canadian International Auto Show. With over 1,000 vehicles on display on more than 600,000 square feet of space, the Auto Show is not just Canada's biggest car event, but also the nation's biggest show for consumers, according to the Toronto Star. Not only is the variety of trucks, SUVs, cars, and concepts all on display, but the push for alternative fuels, especially electrical, is what keeps over 300,000 people coming each year. We asked those in attendance, what did they like this year? Which cars stuck out? What was their favorite color? And what makes coming to the auto show fun for them?
Oh, we're trying to start a tradition. The little ones are young, so yeah, they're big into cars and they know almost every kind of car that's on the road. Sometimes it shocks us, so yeah, we're just trying to maybe start a family tradition and come down here every year. So yeah.
Just the attraction, the different kind of cars, international cars. I love it, and just having the kids here, experiencing with them.
The Aston Martin.
Did you like the cars or did you like the trucks?
Trucks.
The trucks?
The F-150.
The F-150, all right. So, with auto experts always trying to find that extra gear to outpace the competition, and with technology continuously changing the automotive landscape, the future is definitely exciting in making what was once an automotive fantasy a reality for both beauty and the beast. From the 2020 Canadian International Auto Show, this is Marco Rudo, Eagle News, Toronto.
That is this week's Eagle News. Join us next week for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I am Tiffany Elisassis, and I am one with 25.